Hello, my name is Edwin Rutsch, and I'm the director of the Empathy Center located here in beautiful Santa Barbara, California. The center's mission is to build the empathy movement and to raise the level of empathy in society through education and community building initiatives.
And my name is Anita Nowak. I teach at McGill University, and I'm the author of Purposeful Empathy, a book that invites readers to turn up the volume of empathy in their lives.
And at the beginning of 2024, Anita and I co-hosted the Empathy Summit, brought to you by the Empathy Center, and more than 40 authors of books about empathy participated.
They shared what their book was about, why they were motivated to write it, and what they hope readers will take away. Thank you so much for watching, and we hope you'll buy their book. It is my pleasure. Holy smokes, our last author of the day, Marie Miyashiro, who is the founder and president of Elucidity Network Incorporated, an empathy-based consulting and training firm that focuses on mindfulness in rehumanizing workplaces. She is a keynote speaker, trainer, consultant, and author of The Empathy Factor, Your Competitive Advantage for Personal, Team, and Business Success. She's gifting one ebook to the Empathy Summit, and it is my pleasure to pass the baton to you, Marie.
Aloha, everyone. Aloha from Honolulu, Hawaii. Here's your lei. I have fun doing that. I'm so pleased to be here today, and I am finding myself just kind of overwhelmed with all the beauty that's coming. And I just want to take a moment and invite you to be with me to just breathe in silence for like 15 seconds to just take it all in, because it's been so much words and energy and beautiful stuff, but I just want to integrate it if you want to join me. Just slowing down and calming down our nervous system for just a moment on this beautiful day we're having together. So I want to thank Anita. Pleasure to meet you. And also for all of you. And I'm so happy to be reconnected with Edwin again. So here we are. I'm sharing my screen. And I want you to see, I'm going to keep it in that format because I really like seeing all the people in the chat. And give me a moment here to get realigned. So I wrote The Empathy Factor back when there was virtually no research on empathy in the workplace. So that's my thing. It's my only thing. I don't do families or marriages or anything like that. I'm really focused on teams and the workplace. And I want to start by asking you a question, like Michael just did here. And that is, what is a secret ingredient that makes empathy real, in your opinion? What is a secret ingredient you think? There's no right or wrong answers. There's probably a bunch of answers. But in a moment, I'm going to share with you what I think one of the main answers is. And then we'll take a look at that together. All right. So this is a picture of me and my maternal grandmother, Kame Shimabuku, when, of course, I was much younger. This is on Ala Moana Beach Park here on the island of Oahu in Honolulu, where I grew up. And I wanted to show you this picture, and I've shown this picture to leadership teams at the highest level, C-suites, people who are leading multinational corporations that are global 400 companies. And I show this picture because my grandmother was an Okinawan shaman. So Okinawa is a southern part of Japan, and she was a Nodo priestess, and so was her mother and her grandmother. It's passed down the maternal line. My mother was not a shaman, and neither am I, but it kind of ended with her. But I show this to my clients when I'm working with them because I want them to know that I grew up in a house with my maternal grandmother, seeing the power of the invisible from a very early age. And that this invisible power which we can call now empathy, is one of them. Love is another one that I think is so important, is something that is real and tangible, and we've all had experiences of it. And so I like to share a picture of my maternal grandmother to show that there's a way to make the invisible visible. Right? And so I've been fortunate enough, and let me refit this here. I've been fortunate enough to work the last 7 years, 8 years with a global industry leader where I went to 22 countries, over 22 countries. And this statistic was taken back in 2016. So these numbers are much higher now. And the program was still in implementation towards the end of 2023. And we trained 55,000 employees in empathy, 35 leadership teams, and over 300 trained the trainers. It began as a customer loyalty program, but it turned into cultural change. And what was really interesting about this that was different than what I knew as an organization development person who came to love and know empathy and incorporate that into my work for almost 20 years now, is that this program really went viral from the middle, not from the top. It had validation from the top in terms of a customer loyalty program, but it became so viral and people were clamoring to get into our sessions, and each country was telling the next country, you got to get in on this. So we found a way to make empathy transferable, repeatable, and scalable. And now I'm coaching and training empathy trainers from 15 countries all around the world to expand our scale. So and you can find more about that program and me at empathiceurope.com. That's a nonviolent communication website. So this program is based on nonviolent communication, which was developed by Marshall Rosenberg, and this is his book. The process is over 40 years old. But my background is organization. And when I met Marshall in Atlanta back in 2004, and I heard him speak, the first thought I had was, my goodness, this method he has is the answer to everything. And I was shocked at how simple it was and yet how powerful it was. So it's being used at Forbes. I was, his book and my book were included in this article, and there have been many articles in Forbes and other places about Microsoft and Satya Nadella using this particular method for his leadership team. So here's Marshall, and I loved, I think, I can't remember which speaker it was, talking about both and, but you can have high productivity and human connection. This is what Marshall was talking about. And so he and I co-authored a chapter in the Change Handbook, which is a book that we were so honored to be in because it has things like open space and whole systems change and appreciative inquiry, all these great methods that are far bigger and better than what we were doing. But it was a way to really look at and bring nonviolent communication, or NVC as it's known, into the fore. And you may or may not have heard of it, but it's surprising how few people have heard of it, given that it's one of the largest empathy practices in the world. It's in over 70 countries, over 700 nonviolent communication trainers. So it's something I'll tell you about how to get in touch with. So when you think of what is a secret ingredient that makes empathy real, I'd love for you to pop some things into the chat, because I would love to see what you're coming up with about what you think are some ways. Okay. And this is what comes up for me in nonviolent communication. So of course we have feelings. We know that empathy is some kind of empathic connection through feelings. Okay. So what Marshall did was revolutionary because he connected feelings to something underneath. And this was my real aha moment. And that aha moment, yeah, we got attunement and spontaneity from Ellen. This was my aha moment from Marshall Rosenberg, is that beneath every feeling is a universal human need. This was revolutionary, because we've been taught and educated in a violent paradigm that teaches us that the cause of our feelings is what other people say or do to us. when in fact it comes from inside of us and in our own needs. It gives us so much more empowerment when we think of it that way. I know I've got a minute left. So I feel relaxed, for example, is a feeling. And underneath that, what is the feeling? Oh, my need for belonging. So when we get connected to this need, we can separate out what's happening around us into an internal process where we have empowerment and more choice. And that was a revolutionary idea for me. So this is a daily practice we can all do. And if you get in contact with me or go to our website, there's different ways we can really look at human needs. And we're not educated really in human needs. So this process, when we do the training with our groups, they have a hard time discerning what's the need underneath the feeling. And that to me is the secret ingredient, human needs. Because once we get connected to that, we're connected in our humanity because we all have the same human needs and they're active at different levels at different times. Okay, so here's another way to look at it is there's these feelings coming out like, leaves, branches of a tree, and underneath them are all these basic human needs. These are not needs like wants and wishes and desires or requests, but actually more fundamental than that. So actually, everyone can get a free ebook if you'd like one. All you have to do is sign up at puddledancer.com and reference Marie Miyashiro or email puddledancer.com. And you can check out more about nonviolent communication also at the Center for Nonviolent Communication. And I'll put this also in the chat for you. So that's me, and I'd love to get any hearts or thumbs up or emojis or anything that tells me you're still out there and listen to what I said and had some kind of connection with what I said. I would love that. Thank you so much, and thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. I want to let you know that I've actually taken training with you some plus 10 years ago, maybe closer to 15 years ago. You've truly been an empathy pioneer before it became sort of as popular as it is today.